afternoon, all you lovely people. It is Super Ty, and I am joined with Comic Book Brando, and we're going to be talking about all the cool books that are coming out tomorrow, January 22nd. As usual, if you have any questions, comments, anything that you want to bring up, just put it in the little comment section. We'll be more than happy to answer it as quick as possible.
We'll read it off Ty's baby phone.
Yeah, my tiny baby phone. And so let's get to it. As usual, we probably have some announcements at the end of the video, let you know what's going on with the shop for the next week and all the other, Center of Austin fandom stores. I'm going to start off with part 6 of 6, or is it Once and Future?
Oh, that's pretty neat. A little event pops up.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, yeah. Which is an event that we'll be talking about in just a little bit.
That's true.
Once and Future number 6, Kieran Gillen's and Dan Mora's very insane story about an undead King Arthur, as well as all these other English monsters and, malcontents, trying to bring about the cleansing of Britain, if you get what I'm saying, which isn't a very nice thing. We're following Duncan and his grandma, who is probably one of my favorite people in fictional, characters for a while, because the grandma is just mean and, kind of snappy. I don't know. I like that.
Snappy, mean grandma.
Yeah. But I'm not going to tell you anything that happens in this, just because it's the last issue of this story arc and maybe series, but maybe not. So yeah, it was really awesome. Boom Studios knocked it out of the park with this one. I'm really digging all the new stuff that Boom's putting out, Oh goodness, a lot of people are watching.
So Fizo has an interesting comment question.
Oh, okay. So Fizo, if you want to get your books into the store, we do consignment and we do like a local press section. Just come on in, talk to me. I can give you all the details about that and where we set those up. But we love supporting the local community of comic creators. So, yeah, bring them on by.
Wonder Woman number 750, an extra-size spectacular, it says at the top of the cover. And they're not lying. This is like a 96-page book.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of Wonder Woman story, including the conclusion of the current storyline that's been being told by Steve Orlando.
That's technically issue 84, but it's also 750.
Because it's like the 750th
Like of all of them, yeah.
Wonder Woman run. Steve Orlando and Jesus Marino are the artists. Lots of other additional Wonder Woman stories. Great, a lot of different art styles. We've got like a classic Greg Rucka kind of take on the character. He's like one of the most influential Wonder Woman writers of all time. We've got some new voices, some classic voices. Really cool. And if you're a Wonder Woman fan, this is a must get this week. This is like probably like the big DC book in my book.
And there's also, just like the Detective Comics and Action Comics 1000, there's also different Decades variants.
That's right, they're doing the Decades variants for these as well.
There's like Adam Hughes and Jim Lee and George Perez and...
like some of the most beloved Wonder Woman artists, each taking on a different Decades look at Wonder Woman. I believe 1980 is Brian Bolland?
It's actually 1990s, and that's the one I'm getting, because I love Brian Bolland. Or Bolland.
Bolland.
I don't know how to say his name.
Either way. He's British. There's some pronunciation we're not getting right.
He's British.
But yes, because he did the covers in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And I guess Perez is probably 80s then.
Yes.
Yeah, makes sense.
Wade says, what up, party people? What up, Wade?
What up, Wade?
My next one is Atlantis Attacks. So this is what the new Agents of Atlas book is becoming, the Atlantis Attacks. If you've been keeping up with Agents of Atlas, you'll know that there's this city in the middle of Asia that has, like all of the Asian continents, that is like a doorway, kind of like Krakoa, to lead to all the other different Asian countries. And turns out that they kind of accidentally stole that technology from Namor. And if you know anything about Namor, he doesn't like being stolen from. He doesn't like to be a theft recipient. So, of course, he's very upset. And there was actually this really great part in here where he's just like, aren't these people tired of having war with me yet? And I was just like, yeah, way to go. I really dig this because Greg Pak, I believe he's a really awesome, not just a writer from Marvel. He does a lot of really cool stuff as well. And you might get to see some original Agents of Atlas from Jeff Parker's run, which was one of my favorite books.
Yeah, I love that book.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy, number 1, part 1, Then It's Us. So we have sort of a new Guardians team. Some of these folks have been Guardians adjacent recently. However, that's Marble Boy. So if you ever read that '90s series by Grant Morrison,
Which is awesome.
super fun miniseries, one of my favorites of that decade. They're bringing him back for this run.
Nice.
And Al Ewing's writing this, so you know he's got the voice down perfect.
Yeah.
But he even has a more modern feel to it. So
Yeah.
not very 90s. He's very, very much a 2010s kind of character. Rockets in a suit, that's a thing now. A lot of fun, great new start. Something big is happening. The Olympian gods have been reborn, only they're like not remaining on Earth. They have big ideas about destruction and chaos, and they're making it happen. So Richard Rider puts together a team that is partially Guardians and a lot new. So check it
Nice.
out, a lot of fun. I love Al Ewing's Marvel stuff. I think he's just a fantastic writer for whatever book he gets on. But he like perfectly gets the feel of it, the story of it. Like he makes Hulk a horror book, he makes Guardians like a wild sci-fi adventure, but there's sort of a tone to it that there hasn't been in a couple of years. And I'm really intrigued by what this tone is. Like basically like, okay, we are the galaxy's, people.
Yeah.
We have to do this. We're the only ones who can. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be like an ongoing thing, and I'm really digging it.
Everybody should read more Al Ewing books. Ruben says, hey, fellas. Hey, Ruben.
Ruben?
My next one is Marauders. This is the closing of the story arc for the first story arc of this book. So it's all coming to a head. If you remember in the last issue, the Executioner as well as the Hate Monger show up to try and, tear up the Marauder ship, which is called the Marauder, as well as another one called the Upstart that is trying to save a lot of mutants from Madripoor. Kitty Pryde and co. are, kind of put up against a brick wall a little bit, but, they're going to swashbuckle their way out of this one. Or do they? I've been doing that a lot this video, just like, maybe, maybe not kind of stuff. So I'll stop. But this was one of the, Dawn of X books that I was like, I'm not really sure if I'm going to dig this one. I totally dig this book. It's very awesome. So definitely pick this up.
Batman number 87, the second issue in the new James Tynion fourth run, following up Tom King's incredible run on Batman. I enjoyed quite a bit. This one starts off at the previous issue. Their 5 assassins came to town, and Batman captured them all. This issue starts off with a very unsettling conversation between Riddler and Penguin.
Sweet.
And we follow up on what's a little bit more about what's happening. We don't really know what's going on. There's a big mystery. Batman is in full detective mode, trying to figure out who is trying to encroach on the Bruce Wayne vision of Gotham City and why and what's going on. So a lot of mystery in this, a lot of question marks, but like really cool like dialogue, combat. There's a fantastic action sequence in here that just had me like slack-jawed. So I really like the new Batman stuff. It's carrying on. Scott Snyder, Tom King, James Tynion, fantastic run, and just a great character to put like your best people on.
Yeah.
So give it a read and just see what's happening to Riddler. It's not good.
And soon to be written by Zern and Denton as well.
Are we taking on Batman?
Well, if they're going to put the best
the
people on it.
greatest? Oh God, what a dream.
Yeah. Okay, so question, really quick, and this is a question for everybody else as well. What Batman villain would you like to have a cool revamp? Now, you can't use, like, the ones that are always used, like Joker or Riddler or Penguin. Like, what is a deep cut?
A lesser known Batman villain.
Deep cut.
And by cool revamp, do you mean like try to make him like a major player?
Well, like, kind of what Tom King did with, like, Kite Man. Like, he made him more relevant.
Yeah.
I'm kind of thinking King Tut or Maxie Zeus.
King Tut. Tom King did a little bit with King Tut as well.
He
made him
did?
kind of more relevant.
I need to reread all of that.
Yeah, I think. Well, I know he was in the Year of the Villain Riddler. I can't remember who wrote that though. But he showed up in that. Man, that's such a good
Do you want to think about it?
question. Let me think about that while you do one.
If you say Condiment King, I'm going to be very disappointed.
It's not going to be. I mean, Condiment King's like their constant joke. They'll
Yeah.
keep going to him.
My next one is Excalibur number 6, keeping on with ending of story arcs. So a lot has happened in this book. There's Otherworld, where, you know, there's fantasy and Morgan Le Fay and dragons and monsters, and the new Captain Britain, which is Betsy Braddock, has to duel to the death with Morgan Le Fay's champion, which is Brian Braddock, who was also Captain Britain. So there's that happening. You also get to see some more machinations of Apocalypse, or whatever he's calling himself now. You can't really pronounce it. It's a nice little wrap-up to the story arc, but it's also leaving a lot of things open for the future, magic and mutants as well. But M-A-G-I-C, not M-A-G-I-K, the character. Yeah. So this was another one that was just like, maybe I'll be into it, maybe not. Turns out I loved this book, so definitely be picking this one up as well. Did you think it? Figure it? Maybe the ventriloquist would be really cool.
Oh, they've done a lot of cool things with him recently. Like Paul Dini did a really cool ventriloquist thing. Although it was kind of more like Scarface and Harley.
Yeah.
Hugo Strange is a personal favorite, but it's so hard to do like a better Hugo Strange story than the one that happened in the 70s. That was just kind of like tops. Man.
It's tough.
It is tough. But the thing is, like, yeah, the character I would want to do is the Riddler.
Yeah.
Just because he wasn't really a top end, like a high end. He was always like a known one because of oddly enough, because of the Batman 60s show, because Frank Gorshin's performance of Riddler was, like, honestly the best of all the villains.
True.
Even better than Romero's Joker. More committed.
Although I was looking at Julie Newmar myself.
I mean, for real, right? I have a story for you later.
Sweet.
God, I don't know. I mean,
Well, think it over. There was no, like, it's not going to be on your tombstone or anything.
I had an idea for the eraser guy.
The eraser? The living eraser? Where he just goes, poof.
Yeah. No. That's the Marvel villain. The dude who actually looks like a pencil.
Oh God, him?
I either had a really good idea or I read a really good idea and I thought of it later as though it was mine. I don't know. Don't do this if you are writing comics, but like he was gonna be like a cleaning man. So he like
like a crime scene cleanup guy?
show up and like if you pulled a crime, you call him up and he like
Oh.
erases the evidence.
That's a cool idea.
That may have already been done. I have no idea.
It's a cool idea.
I read so many comics I can't even keep them straight anymore. But I think I had that idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did I rip off the story? Sorry if I did. If that was your thing, or if you're planning on ripping me off, maybe don't because I think I did. I don't know. American Jesus #2. This is the new Messiah storyline, and I really dug the first one. And so we got to. If you read Chosen many years ago, 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Maybe longer, almost 20. That was Mark Millar's Ultimate Jesus story.
Yeah.
Like Marvel Ultimate Universe style Jesus retelling. However, big twist. Now this is the long-awaited sequel. I personally have been. I thought it was never going to happen.
Right.
I was like, this is just done.
Yeah.
I for sure was positive they were never going to go back to it. But here we are, and this was a surprise book because they didn't announce what it was. It was like an Xmas surprise. Second issue, we flash forward a few years, and we're seeing the child grow older. And of course, when you're told you are the new Christ, you're probably not going to take that well, or believe it, or whatever.
Right.
You think your parents are crackpots, and this is all nonsense. Well, in a small town in Texas, that's exactly what's happening. So what do? You rebel.
Yeah.
And that will probably start you on your path. Really awesome. I've been enjoying this quite a bit. And I just can't wait to see where it goes. I love the first one so much. And the second one makes reference to the first one, and it's going to all tie together, and I'm super stoked for it.
My next one is Batman Superman 6, The Aftermath of the Infected. So, most of the Infected storyline is pretty much on its way out with the Year of the Villain, Hell Arisen, which is also coming out tomorrow as well, issue 2. But now Bats and Supes are dealing with keeping secrets from their friends and colleagues. And, it brings up a really interesting point, how how much good are you doing if you're lying to your friends, to help them and save them? Well, it's going to bite them in the butt later anyways. So, even these two are fallible.
You'd think Batman would have a big problem with it following.
Well, they actually bring that up.
Oh, okay.
They actually bring some of that up. I won't tell you what, and he won't either, but they bring up a lot of things in the past that are just like, oh, well, we kind of had problems with this. Maybe we should try something else. Illustrated by our good friend David Marquez, as well, who I believe just had a baby.
Congrats.
Good on him.
That's right. I did see that.
And written by Josh Williamson. I have been really digging this series because, I like Batman and Superman together. They're a dichotomy of, one's all hopeful, one's all, brooding and angry, but they think they know each other so well, It's like the bickering friends that we all have, So, I've been digging it.
Thanks. Sebastian suggested Spellbinder from Batman Beyond.
Ooh, that's good.
Kind of hard to retell a Batman Beyond character. Do you go in the future, or
Time travel.
that's fair.
Time travel it.
Ugh, not a big time travel fan. If it's not Back to the Future, no time travel for me.
Oh, I love time travel.
Do you?
Oh, yeah. I love time travel stories.
I think I like Back to the Future and Donnie Darko.
Time Cop? Time Cop's great. I don't care what anybody says. Period. Exclamation
It's
point.
definitely the fourth or fifth best Jean-Claude Van Damme movie.
Okay. Well, we're about to get on a tangent here. Why don't you get to your next one before I just blow my top? Time Cop.
What was the New Orleans one? Shots.
Oh, Hard Target.
Yeah.
Punches out a snake.
That's the best Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Both mulleted Jean-Claude's in those.
Yeah. Well, he knew his style.
He knew what was up.
Amazing Spider-Man number 38. So things have been going pretty well for Peter Parker. He's got this crazy device that allows him to tell different futures.
Mm-hmm.
That's handy. He and J. Jonah Jameson are pals ever since he revealed his identity to his longtime, technically worst enemy. He gave his identity, and now they're kind of working together. This one's a very J. Jonah Jameson centric. He's got throw me off.
Sorry.
JJJ has a new opportunity presented to him by Nora Winters, who used to work for him.
Yeah.
And he's going to be the head of a media empire, a whole new kind of new technology media empire. Only that might not work out well for Spider-Man in the long run. Plus, another classic Spidey villain, Chance, has a whole new enterprise that is probably going to be a thorn in Spidey's side.
Oh.
Really loving the Nick Spencer run of Amazing Spider-Man. It's been a lot of fun. Brings out a lot of people we haven't seen very much of in the past 10 years, so we're getting to see some whole different takes on villains and storylines, and it's really cool. So, give it a read.
My next one is Batman Curse of the White Knight, Book 6. So this story doesn't take place in regular continuity, and man, I can see why, because a lot of people don't make it. That you would be like, nah, they're safe, don't worry about it. No, a lot of people die. A lot of secrets are revealed in this one as well, because the whole point of this story is the history between the Order of Saint Dumas, Azrael's, not cult. Well, we'll get a dictionary. We'll get a dictionary later and discover what that actually means. And as well as the old Wayne family from when Gotham first started off with Edmund Wayne. So a lot of revelations happening here, but remember there's also Joker running around trying to do his machinations in the background that will lead to all this bloody, horrible violence. A lot of surprises in this issue that I was just like, oh wow, they're doing this on book 6 of 8, so where else can they go? So yeah, Sean Murphy, man, I love his art. I think he's great. I think he's a great writer. It's good stuff.
Nice. Birds of Prey, 100-page giant, super awesome, lots of stories. 3 of them new, 3 of them classic reprints. We've got Harley, Huntress, Black Canary, stories mostly focused on them, either together or solo. So a lot of cool stuff, and getting us ready for the big fantabulous emancipation of Miss Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey movie, which They're starting to push heavy into advertising. I think that'll be a lot of fun, and you'll get to know these characters a little bit better if you don't already. So I think these are great little, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, not catch up, but like
Vignettes.
primaries or primers. Primers, yeah.
Primers.
Yes, primers. So, like, you don't know who Black Canary is, you can find out from this. A little bit more about Huntress. Everyone knows who Harley is at this point, so there you go.
I'm mostly stoked about seeing Ewan McGregor playing a bad guy.
Who's he play?
He's playing Black Mask.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm really stoked about it.
Who does Mary Elizabeth Winstead play?
Huntress.
Nice.
Yeah. And Rosie Perez is going to be playing a Renee Montoya.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Rosie
very,
Perez.
I'm very sold on this cast. So.
Yeah, I'm going to go see it.
Yeah.
My next one has been a very fun, interesting ride. Basket Full of Heads, which I also think is one of the best titles of a book because it gets right to the point. So June, our heroine, has been indiscriminately chopping off people's heads and keeping them in a basket because they're staying alive due to this magic Norwegian axe.
Has it been indiscriminately?
Well, I don't want to go away
Okay,
too much
all
because there's also revelations in this book as well. There's a lot of things coming to a head in these books this week.
Head.
See what I did there?
You
Accidentally.
didn't do it on purpose. Don't
I said
claim that.
accidentally. TPBs already. Man,
No,
I'm late.
Not yet. Still.
Oh, no,
some
yeah, you
issues.
still got time.
I know it's like thick.
That's
like
a thick one.
but
Yeah. So, anyways, Joe Hill's really fun, well written. Like the dialogue in this is just solid. It really reminds me of like a '70s B or C movie of just like girl in trouble, magic weapon, revenge kind of thing. So I've been really digging this. I've been digging all of the Hill House books, like that Daphne Byrne book, as well as the Dollhouse Family. I've been really Lola Woods. I've been really digging all of these. So if you haven't been getting onto this, I believe we have all the issues of every single one of them, so you can play some catch up if you need to.
That kid who gets slapped at the beginning of Creep Show sure did grow up to be a good writer.
He did. Yes, he did.
Fantastic Four number 18. So Reed Richards has finally found the secret that has eluded him his entire side. Well, ever since he and his crew were bombarded by cosmic rays. How? Why? He planned for everything. He knew the science of it. He was ready, and somehow this thing happened. Well, he found out who did it to them, and he calls them out, and it breaks out all hell on the planet that they are on. So yes, the Monster Men, the oh gosh, I forgot the name of the superhero team, the
Unmatched?
the Unparalleled.
Unparalleled.
That's right. And the Fantastic Four are all like at odds.
Yeah.
And big things are happening, and Reed Richards, who is the smartest person, makes a really dumb error, and hijinks ensue. I want to say hijinks, action ensues. Good stuff. I love Dan Slott on these characters.
Oh, yeah.
He's another guy who can just tackle any Marvel character and gives it its own unique spin while also like being true to the 50+ year voice of the character.
Right.
There you go.
Speaking of Dan Slott, I finally read Iron Man 2020. You were right. I did like it for all of those
Your
reasons.
kind of book, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I am really into that book now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I read the annual a zillion years ago. I didn't think anything of it. I think it's kind of cool. I thought the big gears were dumb. But
Yeah. It was cool, though. I really dug it.
this book hits on things that we both love, and yeah, I'm stoked.
The next wave we're going to be riding is... There we go. Superman 19. So this is the issue after Clark reveals he's Superman, and the whole world is standing aghast, just not knowing, oh my god, really? Which I can understand, and I'll tell you why later. But anyways, excuse me. Perry White,
Knock it out, buddy.
yeah, Perry White is now saying, Superman, now that we know that you work here, our insurance rates are going to go crazy. So Clark Kent might not have a job anymore after this.
You fired.
Yeah, so don't quote him.
Well, that's why I gave it an accent.
Okay, thank you. But yeah, so Superman's also kind of wondering oh, well, now that everybody knows who I am, he thought people would be attacking his apartment and all the, blowing up the Daily Planet and all this other stuff. And you'll find out why they haven't yet, as well as more cosmic craziness with United Planets that leads to the Legion of Superheroes. So a lot of stuff's happening in this one, but yeah, Bendis actually, pulled it off, the whole I'm Superman thing.
Bold changes.
Bold.
What do we got here? TPBs now.
Yeah, now we're on to trade.
This is Meeting Comics by Andrew Neil. So this is a hilarious read for anyone who's ever worked in an office. You'll see a little bit of your superiors in here, the people that you work with, the sort of crazy situations. The HR guy is a robot, as you can see there.
Sweet.
There's some mild superheroism in there. Val is a hilarious character, one of my favorites in modern comic history. And they're done in usually 4-panel, not a gag strip because that's like a 1-panel thing, but it's like a 4-page strip. And you'll laugh a lot. It's very funny. You'll see a lot of your own life in there, but amped up to crazy levels. So we had the single issues. I actually special ordered them from Andrew Neil himself just so we could have them because I thought they were hilarious. He would post them. I'm like, oh, that was really funny.
Yeah.
About the 5th or 7th one I read that was like, oh man, this is really good. I should probably just get these in the store. But now it's all available in a nice trade paperback.
So, I had no idea what this was, but Gudetama is a very lazy egg, and this book is all dating advice from his perspective, which I was like, what? And then I remembered, oh yeah, Guzu next door, they sell a lot of Gudetama toys and, squishy eggs and stuff, and my memory caught up. But yeah, so they made a comic out of this, of him just somebody who doesn't know how to meet, someone out in the real world, not, on an app, so he's just like, fine, guess I'll help. So yeah, it's really cute, it's really fun, very silly.
It's really weird.
Yeah, it's very strange, because this gelatinous egg, who is very lazy, is trying to help all these people, but not doing that great of a job, but sort of also is. So,
who are the dancing yolk people?
Well, that's for somebody else to figure out.
Oh.
I didn't have a chance to read the entire thing, obviously. Yeah, it was pretty interesting.
That's awesome.
So we're going to be having these over here at Austin Books, but we're also going to move a couple over to Guzu, for the people that only go over there.
Synergy.
Yeah.
Justice League International, Book 1, Born Again. This is my all-time favorite Justice League team. I may be in the minority in that. Most everyone else is probably going to say Justice League Unlimited, that sort of era. But this was my group. Batman's in there for a couple issues. He's gone almost immediately.
Leaves an impression.
Captain Marvel, barely there. 1 issue or 2 issues. It's mostly Guy Gardner, Blue Beetle, later on Booster Gold, Oberon, Martian Manhunter is consistent. He's always there. But then you get Fire and Ice, and Nort shows up here and there.
Nort. The Wilford Brimley of Green Lanterns.
He is very Wilford Brimley-like. Yeah, so it's super. Basically, it's hilarious.
It's fun.
Maxwell Lord puts this team together back when Maxwell Lord was a nice guy, and he's a billionaire, so he has all this extra money. He wants to make the Justice League a thing again, and boy, do they get into hijinks. It is one of the most fun comics I've ever read. Seriously, Keith Giffen and J.M. DeMatteis at some of their best.
Yeah.
I've laughed out loud reading this run so many times. I highly, highly recommend it if you like fun, weird superheroes. This is tops. This is so inspirational, and any funny superhero book you've ever read is probably a little bit inspired by this run.
My last one is the very first volume of Jane Foster Valkyrie. So this is spinning out of War of Realms, where Jane Foster is no longer Thor, but everybody recognizes her importance and value and how great of a hero she was, and Valkyrie died in War of Realms, so they needed a new one, and they give her the All Weapon, which pretty much makes everything she needs just for that fight. Beautiful story in this about Heimdall and a journey into mystery, which I thought was a really cool callback. Written by Al Ewing and Jason Aaron. I dug this. I thought this was super good. I didn't know what to expect from it, but it was just freaking amazing. I highly recommend this. I also get a little Bullseye action in there too.
The villain?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is.
Super good book. Loved it.
And so I am all about funny superheroes today. Ecstatics. So this is one of my favorite Peter Milligan written stories with art by Michael Allred. So what a super team that was.
Yeah.
Basically, they took on X-Force. This is like the 99, 2000, somewhere around there.
Yeah, it's around that time.
And they were so ahead of their time. Gosh, I think back on that book and thought 10 years later and they would have been like dead on.
Yeah.
They basically told the future with this because their team, their X-Force team, were superheroes that were like more reality television stars and more concerned about branding and merchandise sales and like ratings and all that, which would be absolutely the case right now.
Right.
But they were doing it like 10 years ago.
Almost 20.
Almost 20. Does it say the date? It doesn't. But yes, they basically told the future. But it's not just like that, you know, influencer
Yeah.
media, because like they do the superhero thing and they die a lot.
A lot.
You lose cast members a lot.
One of the best
in this
first
book.
issues.
Yeah, it was wild. It was jaw dropping. I remember just being like immediately hooked with it. I was like, okay, well, I will buy every issue.
Yeah.
So good, so weird. Says a lot about our society then and what it has become. And like I said, it is precognizant in how it predicted like the superhero sort of like zeitgeist.
Yeah.
'Cause now you see a lot of books that sort of do this thing. It's like, well, Ecstatics already did it.
Yeah.
Highly, highly recommended. And I think that they're like, because they just did like a one shot not that long
They're
ago.
bringing it back, yeah.
They're doing like a new series, which is sort of kind of more adjacent to the original team again. But give this a read, get caught up. This is one of the coolest superhero X-Men runs I've ever read.
And Dupe.
And Dupe, the most powerful mutant of all time.
Yeah, who's a cameraman.
Take that, Franklin Richards.
So, yeah, Frank. So let's talk about everything coming up. We're having a Galentine's Day, Ladies' Night, that is going to be on the 13th of February.
February 13th, the day before.
Yeah, it's going to start at 7 o'clock, goes till 10. I'm sure it's going to be a lovely time. We're not allowed, so all lady types are.
We have a handy dandy flyer with knife points that say what all we're going to have.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. So there's going to be like snacks, beer, movies, stuff like that. So it's going to be a really fun time. What do you got going on?
Well, the new Magic the Gathering set comes out this Friday. It's called Theros Beyond Death. We had a pre-release for it last weekend, and now it officially comes out. We still have buy a box promo packs, and you get a whole box of the boosters. So that's a big thing. We'll be doing Friday Night Magic over there as well, doing some nice casual drafting and Commander playing. And then, of course, Saturday night is our Choose Your Own game night, where folks bring games. We've got a bunch of demo games. I actually just picked up a couple new demo games today that we can bust out and try out. Basically, fun, free way to hang out, meet people, play games, and
Nice.
enjoy a Saturday night away from the carnage of downtown.
What's happening downtown?
Well, it's just constant carnage.
Oh, sweet.
I mean, it's pretty laid back carnage, but like you walk around downtown on Saturday night, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't call it carnage, but yes.
I mean, carnage is a bit strong.
Yeah. Too many drunk people, yes.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
drunkenness of downtown.
That really love to pee in alleyways. Gross, y'all. Gross.
It smells.
Yeah. I have absolutely nothing coming up, so
My life's just a blank slate.
I cracked a symbol, so I need to save money to buy a new one. That's always fun. Just
Hundo? 2 hundo? More?
yeah.
Stop cracking symbols.
If you guys
man.
didn't know, being a drummer is very expensive. I have a crack in a cymbal this big, and it cost me $280. Yay!
And you're loved the least in the band.
Right? Right?
Even the bassist has more love.
Oh, I always love it when people who play guitars are like, "Oh no, I broke a string," and I'm just like, "Dude, eat me." So that's what I got to do. I got to figure out a way to buy a new cymbal for my shows.
How often do you crack a cymbal?
Oh,
About every year, every few months?
well, I've calmed down a lot. I'm not like the crazy basher I used to be. It used to be every year,
You
but
got tired of paying
Yeah.
couple hundo.
so it probably every 2-3 years or something. But it just whenever it happens, you're unprepared because I don't have like a cache of symbols just laying around. Well, I do, but they're all bad. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I gotta go buy another symbol. So if
I
anybody wants
imagine,
to,
like, the entire Who, Pete Townsend bashing guitars, Keith Moon breaking everything.
yeah, it's
Good thing those-
expensive.
It's a good thing those dudes were rich.
Yeah, I'm not. So look at this haircut. I can't afford anything. So, anyways,
Cut it myself.
I try. You got anything else going on?
That's it for me.
Cool. Well, you can follow me at Super Ty Denton 1. You can follow you at.
Comic book Brando.
You can follow both of us at Austin Books, and we'll see you tomorrow or anytime during the week, future, months, past.
Oh, not the time travel.
Could be. Maybe.